Alright, hello, and welcome back again to Our Lives, Beginnings, and Always. So, just like me, let's get all cozy up in here, enjoy a good story. I'm very excited. We are on to Fireflies now, continuing the moments through step 1. And I'm just ready to jump into this. I'm super excited. I'm so happy to be back and to keep doing this, so let's keep going. Alright, tonight we're going to catch fireflies. I would love to try and catch a firefly. I like seeing them. I don't think you can catch fireflies. So, oh, you can see the little moving in the background. Very nice detail. There's a blunt decoration from your sister you looked up from your macaroni and cheese dinner. Very good dinner, by the way. Fireflies were a familiar sight over summer, coming out on warm nights to dance through the sky. I love how some of this is written. Tonight was particularly balmy. You knew there was bound to be a ton of them around. Oh, you are you? Yeah, we started eating. You started eating fast, so you looked over at your mom's and pushed your food around your plate. Yep. A grin curved your lips as you started to eat a bit faster, excited for what was to come. It seemed like you were too excited, however. You started to choke and cough on your food from shoveling it down so quickly. Molly reached over to pat you on the back, firmly helping to dislodge the noodles and enable you to breathe again. You took a big gulp of water from your glass, giving your mom a sheepish look. Oops. That's a good idea, Lizzie. Can we, Miss Wonder? Shiloh tapped his fork against the table excitedly, his face lighting up as he looked at Lizzie. It was unusual of Shiloh to still be here. Like always, his mom had to bring him over really early in the morning before her job started. But normally she would have picked him up by now. She called before dinner to let her moms know she'd be late. You didn't hear why. Probably more work things. You thought maybe getting to hang out with Shiloh for longer is what made Lizzie want to keep running around outside. Staying at home and watching TV was never an option for her with guests over. That's why you were pretty sure she'd get your moms to agree. Well, it's already so dark out there. Lizzie gave Mom the best puppy dog eyes she could, slowly spooning mac and cheese into her mouth while you waited there for their response. Let them go. Nights like this don't happen every day. Your parents exchanged a look, then Mom eventually sighed and nodded back. Yes! Along with Lizzie's cheers, you threw your arms up in triumph, but waited until you finished chewing to say anything, because you knew it was rude to talk with your mouth full. Very polite, very classy. Fine, just make sure you stay on the hill behind our house with all the poppies, okay? Duh, Mom, that's where most of them are. The idea had only just been planted in your head, but already you could just picture all the glowing lights spread out in front of you, like the fairies from the bedtime stories while you read sometimes. All too quickly, it became a race to see who could finish the food first. No choking at the dinner table now. That's right, if someone died, we'd have to cancel the Firefly trip after all. The look on her face, too. Mom said it like a joke, but you knew that they were both telling you kids to slow down. Shiloh did immediately. When you glanced at Lizzie, you saw her still eating faster than she should. Elizabeth. No one's gonna die, sheesh. A knock on the door interrupted Mom before she could no doubt scold your sister. I'll get it. Your big sister jumped out of her seat and ran over to the door, pulling it open without even looking out the window to see who it was. Huh? Shifting in your seat to try and get a glimpse of the unexpected guest. Hi. Good evening, Cove. Your mommy had already walked to the door by the time you managed to see past Shiloh's puppy hat. Why is Cove here? Is something wrong? He didn't give you any clear acknowledgement, his eyes firmly fixed on the ground in front of him. You shrugged, going back to shoveling a forkful of macaroni in your mouth. Then, for a few seconds, Cove said nothing. He only stood there and looked up at your mommy with a face, almost like he was considering turning around and leaving. My dad told me to drop this off, because I guess he borrowed it from you. Cove took a familiar screwdriver from out of his large side pocket, eyes now dropped to the floor. We left ours back home when we moved. Great, thanks, bye! Oh my god. Thank you. Here, why don't you come inside for a bit? Lizzie crossed her arms and lifted her chin. Cove shrugged and Mom stood from the table too. I'll give your dad a call to let him know you got here alright. Cove shuffled fully inside, eyes remaining on the ground. Mommy closed the door behind him. Hi, Cove. Shiloh gave Cove a friendly smile while waving by holding up his hand and opening and closing his fingers. Cove nodded in response. Cove, are you gonna go catch fireflies with us? You can come out with us if you want to. You weren't sure what to say. Well, you could come out with us if you want to. From the corner of your eye, I can see Lizzie glaring at you for mentioning the excursion to the outsider. Trying not to beat her gaze, you looked at Cove. Whatever Lizzie thought of him, he wasn't exactly a stranger anymore. We're going to catch fireflies on the hill out back. Okay. I want to see them. I've never caught one before. I've never caught one before either. It's too bad he didn't have a chance before now. The fireflies weren't out when he moved in, and there must not have been anywhere he used to live. We can't go until after dinner. As she pointed this out, Lizzie walked back to the table and took her seat. There wasn't much left on her plate. So this was very true. You decided to finish up your own stuff as well. Cole stepped closer and eyed what was on the menu for your family's meal. Have you eaten yet? Yeah, Dad and I ate earlier. What did you have? Eggs. Fair enough. A little weird. The clipped one-word answer seemed to discourage Shiloh from asking any more questions. His eyes slowly wandered back to the last scraps of food on his plate. Her phone call with Cove's dad must have ended because your mom came back into the room. Cove, your dad said you could stay for a little bit, well, if you'd like, but he's going to come get you before it gets too much later. Sure. Oh, fun. This will be so nice. As you polished off your meal, you hoped it would be too. The three of you all finished eating shortly after, and Lizzie led the way outside. Remember, don't stray too far. It's fine, Mom. Shiloh trailed so closely after Lizzie, he was nearly stepping on her heels. Cove hesitated at the door. He smiled lightly at Cove, gesturing for him to follow. After a moment, he did. Bye, children. The two of you were a good 10 or 15 feet behind Lizzie and Shiloh by the time you walked outside. You pushed the door shut behind you, watching their figures get further and further away. You're so slow, Jamie. We don't have all tonight. You started to run when you heard Lizzie's voice call you, but paused when you saw Cove still walking at a relaxed pace. Are you not gonna come? You tugged him along. You walked with him. You waved at him to hurry. You ran off. You tugged him along. You didn't want to get left behind or be in trouble for losing him. In your hurry, you accidentally grabbed his cast arm. You hadn't thought about that. Sorry. It's fine. Just go by yourself. You couldn't help but feel bad as he rubbed his arm and refused to look at you, but since it didn't seem like he wanted you there, you did what he said and hurried to the hill. Fudge. There were already a lot of fireflies out, glowing and bobbing about like buoys on a wave. Lizzie was standing on top. Shiloh was spinning in circles somewhere in the mound in the middle. Where's Cove? You looked behind you, wondering if you'd have said him enough to send him home, but a second later he rounded the corner, looking around at all the fireflies with interest. Shiloh took a moment to come over and welcome the both of you to the hill. Hi guys, it's really great out, huh? See how many there are. Yeah. A firefly danced through the air, landing on Cove's sea-green head. Shiloh couldn't help but giggle. You and Shiloh couldn't help but giggle. You quietly looked on. You shooed the bug away. You and Shiloh couldn't help but giggle. Covering your mouth with a hand, the sound escaped you, and Cove looked at you in confusion. Oh, whoops. What did I do? Okay, here we go. What? Oh, look, Lizzie has one. That's amazing. Shiloh ran to the highest point of the hill, making sure not to lose his hat or backpack along the way. You hummed as the group divided and conquered, shifting your gaze to the dozens of fireflies sailing around. The game was on. Spotting one close by, you approached it with assassin-like stealth, crouching down to make yourself seem less of a threat. Slowly dragging one foot in front of the other, you crept up toward it, arms outstretched. You closed your hands around the little glowing orb, careful not to crush it. The firefly landed on your palm, almost docile, and you stared down at your prize in delight. His teeny legs tickled your skin, and you giggled at the sensation. Cove kept up with his own target, but when he tried. Okay, that was a weirdly written sentence. But when he tried to grab it, his pink cast waved awkwardly through the air, foiling his effort to clap his hand around the firefly. Huh. Cove vanished into thin air with a dissatisfied expression on his face. You encouraged him to try again. You told him about the firefly you had. You made a joke about what happened. You did your own thing. Told the firefly. Cove, here's one. Do you want to look at it? Cove didn't notice you. He was more preoccupied with continuing the hunt, hopefully without his cast getting in the way this time. That was fine, you had your own plans. You decided to collect more, you decided to sit in the grass and watch. Sit in the grass and watch. You quietly took a seat among the flowers, the others were jumping and dashing all about. You saw how many times they succeeded and failed, and how Shiloh almost tripped a couple times. It was a dramatic show. Though around you it was calm, the lights of the stars and fireflies surrounded you peacefully. It was a beautiful night. You laughed quietly to yourself as you watched the others, and Shiloh finally managed to catch a firefly between his small hands. His eyes lit up, and when he spread his fingers to take a peek at it, the bug escaped and flew off into the air. Oh! You watched as he pounced after it once more, but your eyes soon landed on Cove, who had failed to catch a firefly yet. You cheered him on, you scared him. Wait to see what happened. You cheered him on. You can do it, Cove. Cove smiled at you for just a moment before returning to the firefly he had been trailing with renewed enthusiasm. While Cove returned to hunting fireflies, you settled for laying back against the soft grass, watching the poppies sway around you and the fireflies hover against the vast sky. Jamie, Cove, get up here. We're gonna have a race. The shouting got you off guard. It had been quite a while since you heard from Lizzie or Shiloh. You glanced over to see them both standing on top of the hill again. Lizzie beckoned to you with a quick hand gesture. If she was like that, you knew there wasn't much room for disagreement. Up the incline you went. From the corner of your eye, you saw Cove was coming as well. He didn't care for Lizzie a lot, so you thought he might be intrigued by the idea. Hi, Cove. You can't roll down the hill. You could hurt your arm again. You'll be the referee for the rest of us. As Lizzie pointed this out, Cove froze in place. Oh, it was a kind of race. He found down his cast. That was the second time it got in the way tonight. What? Yeah, you'll watch and see who gets to the bottom first. That's important. Got it? I guess. The cast was sturdy. If he was careful, he could have done it. Lizzie might have just been looking for a reason to make someone else referee, but it was already decided. You got in a position race. I'll stay with Cove. I'm gonna do something else. I'll stay with Cove.
Really?
Why? You don't have to. It's okay. I want to watch. You moved beside him on top of the hill, even though Lizzie eyed you and made a face. That's not how the race works. We need only one referee. Shrugging your shoulders, you refused to budge, and Lizzie let out a half before throwing her hands in the air. Fine, I'll be the winner, whether you join or not. Lizzie moved to lay down, and Shiloh did the same. Cole stood slightly to the side to get a better vantage point, and you stood next to him. Countdown. Cole stood up a little bit straighter. It seemed like he was taking his newfound referee duty seriously. 3, 2, 1, go. Lizzie and Shiloh took off, letting gravity do the work and rolling at high speed. Hiccup for a second. Rolling towards a high speed towards the bottom of the hill. You and Cove leaned forward to watch them go. Eyes peeled for which of the two reached the bottom first. They were neck and neck until about halfway down the hill, Lizzie started to veer off to the side, giving Shiloh a huge advantage. She obviously hadn't noticed this thing. As soon as Shiloh reached the bottom of the hill, he jumped up excited and threw his hands in the air. I won! Almost immediately, he fell back on the grass, still dizzy from his roll down the hill. Lizzie stomped out of the bush she'd ended up in, sputtering angrily and brushing leaves from the front of her dress. Not bad, you got lucky. Let's do it again and see who wins for real. Kids, it's time to come in. No! You snickered, feeling grateful you hadn't been a part of the mini debacle. You caught Cove's eye and saw he was doing the same. It had gotten late and was getting to feel a bit chilly as you made your way out of the hill, but the cold air hadn't dampened anyone's spirits. The four of you walked back home together, side by side, down your neighborhood street, discussing the evening, with each person trying to prove that they were the one who caught the most fireflies. You knew that whoever really did catch the most didn't matter anyway. All that mattered was that you all had a good time. Just judging by the smiles on everyone's faces, you did. Well, that just kind of ended abruptly, I feel like. They go by so fast, I realize, and I'm getting so much more invested in the choices and what's happening and just absolutely everything. So we're going into the DLCs. So excited. That seems to be the fun content that you don't get to right away, so I'm excited to give those a try. I'm so glad we have them. I can do everything in order. Super excited for it. So next up on our repertoire of episodes, we are heading in to the DLCs, and hopefully that should be a good dang time. So thank you again so much for being here. I hope you've been able to follow along with everything in order and are enjoying this as much as I am. And yes, again, thank you so much, and we will be on to the DLCs next time around. So excited. Hopefully I will see you there.